Hey guys, so I've been meaning to do some tutorial videos for ages, and I thought, you know what, just coming back from TCR, getting ready for a world record attempt, I thought now is probably the best time to do so. So today is all about the century. You know, so many people go to get the 100 miler. So this is what I'm going to explain a little bit about today and how to tackle it yourself. I'm going to talk a little bit about the clothing, talk a little bit about the bike, I'm going to talk a little bit about eating, and I'm also going to take you out on the ride with me today. Enjoy. But first things first, guys, clothing. And clothing is super important, and I appreciate people get a little bit shy of clothing because of the price of clothing these days. And cycling in general is just not a cheap sport, and I completely appreciate that, you know, good gear is hard to find at a low price. So I'm wearing QS bib shorts, which I love. I've had 2 sets in the past 3 years, and I'm still wearing through those 2 sets. Psychology jerseys are just so badass, you know. There is no excuse for not seeing you wearing that. That looks ace. So love my Psychology jerseys. Perlazumi rain barrier wind jacket, which I really like. One thing I've started wearing a lot of recently is cycling socks. These actually came from Aldi. They were like £3.49, and I've never really worn cycling socks before. But I just find the extra little padding nice, especially when you're riding, you know, 200-300 mile days. You know, that little padding goes a super long way. With clothing, it's all kind of finding about what you're comfortable with. Some people love Rafa, some people love, you know, the cheapest stuff on Amazon, just whatever works. But coming into big miles, you will notice that your clothing, if it's not good, it'll either wear out really quickly or it just won't do the job, full stop. So make sure you buy decent clothing. Like I say, I'm a big fan of Hues, massive fan of Psychology, and Perlazumi is just top stuff as well, especially knowing this will keep me dry if I get a quick shower. Hey guys, so this is my bike, and before I start talking about my bike, I just want to explain a little bit about the cycling world. Is that you can get a bike for, you know, £300 or £5,000 or even £10,000, but the bike will not stop you riding that 100 miler, okay? You know, don't think that just because your bike isn't worth £5,000 isn't the be all and end all. So when I first started cycling, I was doing 100 milers, you know, 150 milers on a 1980s mountain bike. So it was that simple, guys, and I think it's really important to understand that the bike will make a lot of difference, but it's not going to stop you achieving your goals, okay? Hey guys, so this is my bike. It's a Linsky Sportive Tie, and titanium is a phenomenal material when it comes to cycling because it's super light, it's super strong, and it holds speed a lot better than other materials. Love the Linsky. You know, Linsky quality is just phenomenal, and I think it's probably up there at the top with some of the best tie brands. I'm using Kinesis Tracer 1.5 forks. Love these, awesome value for money, really strong, really good, and they've had a battering on like a lot of trips I've done, and they've just seen, so, you know, every adventure through, so I'm a huge supporter of them. Reynolds Attacks 2017s, look at them, they are some awesome rims. The Attacks are a climbing wheel. Reynolds, when I first started cycling, I always wanted a set of Reynolds. That was like something I dreamt of having, and then eventually I got a set, and they didn't disappoint us at all. They're carbon, nice wide rims, so I can put a 28mm tyre on, or even a 30 if I wanted to. The profile's really low. I like low profile rims, and the reason I like low profile rims is because I live in a very windy place, so I don't get thrown around as much. I'm running discs because in endurance cycling, why wouldn't you run discs? In racing, I probably wouldn't run discs, but in endurance, yeah, I'm definitely running discs, especially when you're going away for long periods of time. This is a Brooks saddle. This is a Vulcan rubber saddle, so it's actually super flexy and super comfy, and you will get so many good miles out of a Brooks saddle. Doesn't have to be a leather one. Garmin, obviously, to know where I'm going. Food pouch. Even Pro Plus in there ready, and okay. So guys, this is my group set. It is Shimano 105. I really love 105. I think it's amazing, and it's readily accessible anywhere in the world. It's super durable. I'm on a compact on the front and 1132 on the back, so I can climb pretty much anything in my way. I'm on discs as well, but instead of using the original Shimano 105 shifters, I upgraded to Ultegra. So I'm actually on Ultegra shifters and the better Ultegra hydraulic brakes, which I really like compared to the original 105 ones. Hey guys, so many people ask me what I take out on like a day, and personally, I normally take a hell of a lot. And the reason is because sometimes I'll go away for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and I just like to have it all there. But I'll run through kind of what I would take on just a day trip. Normally I'd start with a spare inner tube because that's super important. I'd take a pump to fill it up as well. I'd take some patches just to be sure in case you had like a double emergency. Normally when you use like half decent tyres, you don't really suffer with punches that bad. I use Brno controls and I'm lucky to see a punch once every maybe 3,000 miles. Quick links for your chain. I actually take a spare charger to charge my phone or my Garmin if I need to, but like I say, that's probably a little bit overkill. Lights are super important. If you think there's a chance that you're going to be out in the dark, you know, you need to take lights. You know, safety is key in any kind of riding. A dropout is what goes on the back here. And just say you know you bend your rear mech and your gears stop working, you can change this and it pretty much solves most. Electrolytes, multi-tool, because why wouldn't you leave the house with that one, even with that bike? Spare food and some lube, toilet paper, self-explanatory, waterproof phone case, and some Sudocrete. And I have an energy gel wrapper here. I think energy gels are crap. Like, in my opinion, I just think they're awful. Why people would chuck that in your body, I just don't know. You know, coming from someone that kind of spends a lot of time with a nutritionist, you understand that you just don't want to use stuff like that, in my opinion, for like endurance riding. It's just going to make you ill. Why do I keep an empty one though? Is because if your tyre rips, you can put it inside and it's going to be enough just to get you home, just to hold that inner tube in. As you can see, I'm not using bottle cages, which is something that I see a lot of people do these days now for like long distance. I actually prefer just to put them straight in the bag, like so. All done. But like I say, that's overkill, guys. You don't need as much as I put in there. You can probably just get away with a couple of spare inner tubes, a pump, and a chain link, and that'd be fine. So, with a 100-mile ride, I wouldn't actually bother like carb loading and all that kind of thing. I'd just start with a good breakfast. Like I had 3 bits of toast and some eggs this morning. And before I go out, I'm going to have like a banana and blueberry smoothie. Look at the size of that blueberry. That is huge. Look at the size of that. And the old dear is laughing when I'm talking about the size of blueberries on YouTube. So yeah, I'd just start with kind of a big breakfast and then just keep eating a lot throughout the day. I think it's silly when people say, oh, carb load for your 100 miler. No, I think 200 and 300 miles, yeah. It starts. Just in a place called Sandringham now. Sandringham is where the Queen's summer home is. I think quite a few of the royals live. It's beautiful out here. The roads are wide, they're quiet. That's what you're looking for when you do your 100. Quiet roads. Don't sit on dual carriageways, it's just silly. It's just unnecessary risk. Lots of holiday tourists though. Tourists. The important thing to remember, guys, you're going to listen to music, just put one headphone in. You know, you need to be able to hear what's going on around you. But, you know, I found that out the hard way through nearly having things, you know, hit you and things like that. You just need to learn to be quite safe. So I always get asked questions about my the cockpit of my bike. That's Felix, bless him. That's my Garmin, obviously. I always keep maps on there so I know where I'm going. These are tri-bars. You know, if you're riding in a group, I wouldn't recommend them. You know, but if you're riding on your own, you want to get aero and just have another position, they're awesome. So guys, I am about 16.5 miles in. It's not too bad actually. My normal pace is like between 18 and 20 miles an hour roughly. but I've been coming into a headwind, and one thing to remember when you do these big rides is to pace down. Like, I'm happy to sit at like anywhere between 15 to 17, not a problem, because if you're sitting at 18, 20, you fatigue so quickly, especially on multi-day rides. Always worth keeping a low pace. What are we doing? So look at this beautiful Norfolk view. Can you get used to seeing that every day? Yeah, come to Norfolk. Yes, yes. So I'm about 35 miles in right now. This is the time where I know I'm going to start getting hungry and thirsty soon. So rule number 1 of endurance cycling: eat before you're thirsty, drink before you're hungry. Yeah, you get what I mean. You get what I mean. So you just kind of have to keep on top of it. For you, it could be 10 miles, it could be 20, it could be 30, it could be 40, it could be 50 when you start getting hungry. But make sure you have something to drink and eat before you get to that point.
Yeah, I can do that.
So I'm just at the pub now. Nelson in Brno Market. They're awesome. Absolutely love it here. There's no substitute for proper food, guys. You know, like coffee, good food, good coffee. So I'm going to stop here, get some lunch and that, and then carry on. I'm about halfway through. So by now you're probably feeling a little bit tired. You're about 2/3 of the way in, and that's completely normal. You know, if you're not doing regular 100s, 200s, that kind of thing, then this is a point where you're going to start to suffer a little bit. So a really good bit of advice is just to stay on the bike as much as you can, unless you really physically need to get off, because the more time you spend off the bike, the more time you're wasting. But on top of that, the harder it is for your legs, your back, everything to get back into motion. So sometimes it's just about pushing through a bit of pain. Obviously, if you're really suffering, then maybe you need to think about stopping, but if it's just general niggles, then you just need to push through, and before you know it, you're going to forget that you're even hurting. 10 miles left! Have you got any food left over? If so, eat it, unless you want to save it. Any water? Drink it. Not long now. The magic century. Woo!
And there's the 100.
Hey guys, so now you've finished your 100, you've got home, now you've got an hour where you need to get some protein in you, some more water, and then you need to put a little bit more oil on your bike, give it a clean if it needs it, most importantly, get your ride up on Strava and show off to your friends, yeah? So guys, one thing to really look at is your ride time and your elapsed time. So my ride time, for example, was 5 hours and 40 minutes roughly, so my average was about 17.2, but my elapsed time was about 6.5, 7 hours. So what's important about that is it means that I only had a break for about an hour and 10 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes, which is very good. So if you're riding 200 miles, you're very short on time of the day. So the less you rest, the better. It's better for your muscles, it's better for you, and also it makes your day a little bit more enjoyable. I reckon the next one we'll do is a 200 mile, and then we'll go to a 300 mile after that. So stay tuned guys, hit subscribe if you want to see some more videos, some more advice, some cool reviews. We'll go from there. Stay cool.